Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. You guys know that this Bronny James story has been a bit of a controversial one. You have some people out there that are in support of Bronny being in the NBA because they're LeBron fans. So they support pretty much anything that he does. And you have other people out there who are not LeBron fans that are like, wait a minute, this guy doesn't look like he's good enough to be in the league. And even some LeBron fans are like, wait a minute, this is not a good look for Bronny because we don't really see how this is beneficial to him. Prior to Bronny coming to the NBA, we heard all kinds of stories. We heard stories from an ESPN article that was published about how Rich Paul had a conversation with Bronny, and Bronny was like, so what do you want to do? He's like, I just want to hear my name called, right? And then after that, we started hearing stories of, well, Bronny's only going to be working out for two teams heading into the draft. We're like, what? And then I think leading into draft night, they were like, they were sending out messages, if you draft Bronny, he's going to go to Australia. And we're like, but I thought you said he just wanted to have his name called. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And then ultimately, the Lakers draft Bronny as the 55th pick in the second round. And then they had their moment on opening night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But then from there, it's just been a bunch of nothing, right? It's been a bunch of nothing. Bronny has barely played in the NBA. When he did play in NBA games, he made no impact whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, we heard the news that he was being demoted to the G League. Where he will be with his teammates. And then a disturbing bit of information came out, which was we then heard that Bronny James would not be traveling with his South Bay Lakers team for away games, the G League team that he's on right now. Mind you, this is a player that's supposed to be wanting to develop and all of these different things. And then that news came out. And when that news broke, even some LeBron supporters like Brian Windhorst, Ryan Clark, and others began to call him out on that and like, okay, this is a very, very bad thing. So what happened this morning as I woke up, I kid you not, I just clicked on my phone and went on YouTube just to see what was happening. And I came across a pretty interesting clip from the channel called Full Send Podcast. It was about a 4-minute clip and it features Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Stephen A. Smith was on this clip and they were asking him about the Bronny James situation and all of the news surrounding Bronny. And to my surprise, Stephen A. Smith began to question Bronny's willingness to essentially be treated like a baby by his father in the Lakers and not showing that he wants to go out there and earn it for himself and actually develop as an NBA player. Then instead of just sitting there kind of riding the coattails of his father, I was like, okay, this is an important conversation to have. So what we want to do now is we want to play the sound from Stephen A. Smith. I want you guys to take a listen to what he had to say, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
What do you think happens for his kid once he's out? Like, do you think they're kind of doing this as a favor?
But first of all, there's no question.
Yeah.
Let's cut the BS.
Sure.
There's no question there's a favor. Bronny James did not do what it took to earn a spot on an NBA roster. That's the bottom line.
Not even to get drafted like that?
Well, you could question getting drafted because sometimes they do draft off of potential. And there's plenty of people that get drafted in the second round that we know we don't know what their potential is.
But to play, you're saying?
But to play opening night, to be on an NBA roster, and then, listen, this is what I've said about Bronny James. He's a wonderful kid. They got a wonderful family, their first family, the NBA. I don't think anybody can deny that with Savannah and LeBron and their kids and the job that he's done. Incredible role model. And his son is a shining example of that because he's a very lovable kid. Talk to his teammates, high school, college at USC, and the pros. He's a real lovable guy in the eyes of everybody that, that you talk to about him. But the reality is that now that this has happened, you get to harken back to the resume. You were a McDonald's All-American. You averaged 14 points a game. Most McDonald's All-American players, they have better numbers than that. Mm-hmm. And then you go to UFC after you had the heart ailment and what have you, and then you go to UFC and you don't do but so much, and that's fine because his health was an issue. And then you get drafted 55 overall by the Los Angeles Lakers, and you're playing on opening night, and you're inserted into the lineup in the second quarter so you and LeBron can enter together. First time in NBA history has done that. King Griffey Jr., King Griffey Sr. in attendance for the game. All of that was special. At some point, you as Bronny, you need to say, I don't want this anymore. This was nice. Dad, I appreciate you. I love you to death, man. It was great that you did this. I'm happy that I could have been a part of it, but now I got to go earn my stripes. I got to be in that G League. I got to show that I'm worthy of being here, because you can't always be here to protect and cover me, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying he hasn't done that. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that's what needs to happen if it hasn't happened.
It kind of sucks for Bronny too, because it's like his debut could have been in a year or two, and maybe it would be like a crazy debut for him. I feel like it's kind of selfish of LeBron.
He could develop in the G League. You never know.
That's what I'm saying. But his first debut could have been like,
if he had more time.
Well, exactly. I'm not hard on LeBron about that at all. LeBron has been such a treasure for the league. He's earned the right to have what he wants, and if he wanted that moment, that's fine. My point is that it's on Bronny. There's nobody would have said anything about that moment as long as it doesn't continue. But when you end up staying on an NBA roster and taking up an NBA roster spot when others, when so many people would say there are so many more who's more deserving, it is incumbent upon you at that particular moment in time to say, I'm not comfortable with this. I want to do this on my own.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. What Stephen A. Smith said is essentially what a lot of people are wondering. Excuse the noise outside. They're doing some construction work outside. But a lot of people are wondering this. Why does Bronny seem to be okay with the preferential treatment that he's getting, especially for a player that's not producing? Let me give you guys some of Bronny's stats in the 2 games for his South Bay Lakers team. In 2 games, he's playing 28.5 minutes a game, scoring 5 points a game on 21.1% shooting from the field, 0% shooting from the 3, 100% shooting from the free throw line. I think he's made 1 free throw. He's getting you 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, and 1 block per game. Do these numbers scream player that should get preferential treatment? Do these numbers scream player that shouldn't have to travel with his team on the road? Obviously not. But nevertheless, this is the preferential treatment that Bronny James is receiving. And it's one of the reasons some of us are asking, well, what is the real motivation for Bronny even being in the NBA? Because I'm beginning to think that, look, if Bronny's spot was given to a player that actually wanted to be there, that player would actually do a better job developing. It would do a better job developing. Now, Stephen A. Smith will question it, but he's not going to go as far as independent creators will, because the truth is, in this media space, the people that have the most courage are independent creators. You'll find other people covering sports that have more balls to say what needs to be said than the people that are supposed to be teaching us how to actually do this thing which is called journalism. That's the irony in it. And all of these guys that are supposed to be the truth tellers and really pushing the envelope, they have millions and millions of dollars. So they have financial protection. But the independent guys don't. But they're still willing to go out there and say what needs to be said. You heard at the tail end of that clip, he was like, well, why would LeBron James put him in such a situation like this? Like, well, I wouldn't blame LeBron. Really? You wouldn't? You wouldn't blame LeBron. You wouldn't blame him for putting his son in a situation where he could potentially fail. You wouldn't do that. Why wouldn't you? He's earned the right. Has he? LeBron has earned the right, I guess, to do what he wants to do within himself, but does he get to earn the right to now just start taking away spots in the NBA from other people that may deserve it? Are you okay with that? Why would he deserve that? Why would he deserve that? So, to an extent, Stephen A. Smith is all for this because he's saying, well, why doesn't Bronny step up? We're like, well, okay, but why is the father allowing it to happen? You don't want to have that conversation because it's politics, right? Because if you have that conversation, we're now going to get to the heart of the issue. And it seems like there's nobody willing to do that in sports to me. No one. Who are these people that do it? There may be a few out there. A few. The only NBA player that I've heard with the courage, that's actually on a big platform these days, is Rashard McCann on Gil's Arena, because Gil's Arena is a massive platform. He's the only one that's willing to have an independent thought these days. For the longest time, I had LeBron James in my top 5. I had him ranked number 4 for the longest time. I had Jordan, Kareem, Kobe, LeBron, Magic. But last year, I decided to remove LeBron out of my top 5. Not because of his basketball ability. No, that wasn't it. In terms of basketball ability, resume, and all of that, I think he deserved to be in the top 5. My top 5 at the very least. I think he deserved to be in my top 5. But I had always complained about his antics. His antics drove me nuts. I just couldn't deal with his antics. But last year was the final straw when the thought occurred to me that wait a minute. Is LeBron getting his son to be drafted in the NBA so that it can be self-serving and serve his legacy? Is that what it's about? It's not even about his son, it's about him. The moment that dawned on me that was a possibility, I removed him out of my top 5. That was enough for me. I just couldn't live with him being in my top. I just cannot do it. I refuse to do it. His antics at that point became repulsive to me. Absolutely repulsive. Coming into this season, we've been told one lie after the other surrounding Bronny James. The first set of lies we heard was, oh, well, Bronny wants to come into the NBA because he really wants to be an NBA player and he just wants to hear his name get called. That's what we heard in the article when they were talking about Rich Paul, and Rich Paul had the conversation with him. Then leading into the draft, they were like, Bronny's only going to be working out with 2 teams. And we're like, what, Shaggy? 2 teams? A guy that just wants to hear his name called has decided that he's only going to train with 2 teams, which are the Lakers, work out for 2 teams, which are the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. Those 2 things don't correlate. If you say you just want to get your name called, you're going to be willing to do every single thing in your power to increase your chances of getting drafted, right? But that was in the first. And then leading up to draft night, we were hearing stories that reports are going out. If any team picks Bronny, that's not the Lakers, Bronny's going to go to Australia. I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. I thought it was just about hearing your name get called. So apparently that wasn't it. But at that time, I was saying, man, this is LeBron, this is LeBron, this is LeBron. Bronny, there's no way he could be a part of this. Then we had the moment. They played together. It was a nice moment. But ever since then, it seems like Bronny's been a sideshow. But the media has been trying to promote him like we're witnessing something great. Now, prior to Bronny coming to the NBA, the most vocal person in Bronny's support was his father, which is a good thing. But LeBron was putting on unnecessary pressure on Bronny that he ultimately would have to live up to. He was out there talking about, man, I'm looking at the NBA right now. My son looking better than half of these dudes I'm looking at. Man, Bronny look like he can be on the Lakers right now. Right now. And his twerking ass fans were like, yeah, man, twerk it up, twerk it up, twerk it up. You're LeBron. And some of us were like, well, if LeBron thinks his guy is this good, he must be. So what happened? You put a spotlight on him. And then people started to scrutinize his game. And then when we found out that he wasn't any good, we're like, well, wait a minute. We were sold a bag of lemons here. None of this is true. Right? And then Bronny ultimately got demoted to the G League. And then we heard an absolutely preposterous story that he was no longer going to be traveling with his G League team on the road. And we were like, okay, this is absolute madness. So what happened? Yesterday, out of nowhere, LeBron decided to go on this rant and talk about how he is done with social media. And then he liked this long post of somebody talking about the hate and the despair and sport. And I was like, this is absolute rubbish coming out of LeBron's mouth. So I want to show you what LeBron posted on his Twitter yesterday. He put up 2 posts. The first one he said was, and with that said, I'll holler at y'all. Getting off social media for the time being. Y'all take care. Peace out with a king emoji. Then right next to that, there's a guy called Ace or whatever. I guess he's someone that knows him. Rich Kleinman, I guess is a person he knows. And LeBron, I guess, responded to this or something like that. And it also got posted. And this gentleman said, Ace, with so much hate and negativity in the world today, it confuses me why some of national sports media still thinks that the best way to cover sports is through negative takes. We can all acknowledge that sports is the last part of society that universally brings people together. So why can't the coverage do the same? It's only clickbait when you say it. When the platform is so big, you can make the change and allow us an escape from real life negativity. I, for one, find it all a waste of breath. The Olympics and JJ and Bron show was the future of what this can and should be. And then LeBron now said, amen. What the LeBron talking about? Honestly, what is LeBron talking about? What is LeBron James talking about? What is he talking about here? What is this pity party that LeBron is trying to throw here that he's inviting all of us to? Okay. Let's go through this, and I'll go through this calmly. LeBron is talking about the negativity in sports and why can't it be. First of all, I got to say this. This gentleman ace, okay? If we look at the major media outlets, they're all kissing LeBron's butt cheeks. All of them. Everybody on ESPN, everybody on Fox Sports, and all of the other guys are all doing the same thing. All of them. All of them. The only group of people that are calling out this BS are independent creators and some people sprinkled in there like Rob Parker and a few others. The rest of them are just up there twerking it up all day long. Talking about how great this is. Every time you open up social media, you go to Bleacher Report, you go to ESPN, you go to NBA on ESPN, you go to Sports Center, you go to all of these accounts. They're publishing, oh, this is great. Look at the moment. So when you're talking about this negativity, the question I have to ask is, who are you talking about? Who are you referring to here? Who are these people that are promoting this negativity? That's the first thing. The second thing I want to get to, I want to read a post that I published on the channel last night in response to this. This is just my first kind of preliminary thoughts, and then the show was meant to follow. I said 10 hours ago, so LeBron is running away from social media because of things people are saying about his son when it was his ass that put all the pressure on him and forced him on NBA fans, knowing damn well he wasn't ready. And then I continued on. I said, now the media is negative. I said, when they were destroying your ex-teammate Russell Westbrook, where were you? Where were you? Where were all of this? I'm taking a break from social media because the negativity is too much. Where was this? We sat back and watched them roast and ridicule Russell Westbrook for a good year and a half. For 1 full year and a half, who was your teammate? He was getting blamed for everything under the sun because of the shortcomings of playing with you. I never heard none of this. I'm taking a break or it's too much. What about Kyrie Irving, a teammate of yours that won a championship with you? When Kyrie got into that madness surrounding that post he put on Twitter or whatever it was, and the whole world was collapsing on Kyrie's head, where were you talking about we need to stop the negativity? What you did was you piled on top of Kyrie. Talking about, man, you got to be careful what you say. You know, you got to be careful what you say. What did Kyrie say? He said nothing. He said nothing. So the negativity wasn't much then. When they were destroying Kyrie on every single platform, every single channel was destroying Kyrie, I never heard from you. But the minute it hits your doorstep, all of a sudden, man, it's negativity. All of a sudden, man, I got to get away from the drama. It's a negative environment out there. The minute it touches you, all of a sudden, oh my God, the world, we need to get away from this. This is the negativity is just too much. And then I continued on. I said, this is the exact reason LeBron is not in my top 5. His antics are repulsive. The guy is 40 with the motions of a 15-year-old. He then went out there to a G League game with the shirt, I am the pressure. He wrote it on his shirt that folded to social media pressure. While Kobe, and I said, stood tall and rose when his freedom was at risk. Kobe elevated with pressure and you whine and cry about it. LeBron once again did this to himself. It's always him. What have they done to? What's the thing that they've done to LeBron? His friend even said at the end of the post, and I think this is quite revealing, and LeBron agreed with him. He said, I for one find it all a waste of breath. Listen to this. He said, the Olympics and JJ and Bron's show was the future of what this can and do you hear this? He's saying what the narrative should be is JJ Redick, Bron's show, and his son, or whatever it is, and what they're doing in the Lakers. That should be the focus. We should all just sit down and gobble all of this up. And LeBron agreed with him. There should be no counterbalance to all of this. We should just be happy to gobble this up. Well, I got some news for you. A lot of people ain't feeling it. They're not feeling the fact that the news came out that Bronny not going to be traveling with his away team when he's not any good at this particular moment. They're not feeling it. They're not feeling it. And for you to be talking about you're running away from the negative, you're the one that put him under the pressure. It was you. It was you. So for you to be running and hiding and screaming, oh my God, the pressure's too much. The pressure's too much. It is laughable. Don't compare LeBron to Kobe Bryant. And I don't care if he sees it. Do not compare LeBron to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a totally different animal. Kobe talked about how you overcome adversity, not to run away and go hide and run in my closet. I'm done with it. I'm running away. I can't deal with the pressure. Kobe was like, embrace the pressure. Rise to the occasion. LeBron's like, let's run away from it. Fundamental difference. Totally different makeup. When Kobe was going through his trial, every single night Kobe went out there and was dropping 40 with his freedom on the line. Do not compare these two people. Do not compare them. This is a pity party of a bunch of nonsense. LeBron is trying to turn himself into a victim for everybody to feel sorry for him after he decided and those guys decided that Bronny was supposed to go out there and do. So we're not supposed to say nothing. We're just supposed to look at it, man, this is greatness. This is a man. There's some people that do that. Unfortunately, some of us won't. We spent the last few days talking about the decline in NBA ratings. As a matter of fact, we just produced a show yesterday highlighting some comments that Commissioner Adam Silver had to make where he essentially said that, look, there is no three-point problem. It's just that because the NBA is going up against the World Series and a presidential election. Apart from that, everything is fine. So all the other complaints that NBA fans, some journalists have been making over the last month or so, none of it is valid. None of it is true. Just a figment of our imagination, etc., etc., etc. So what happened? Yesterday, I tuned into a clip of Gil's Arena. And on the panel, I know it was Rashard McCants and Gilbert Arenas. I forgot the rest of the people that were up there. And they were talking about the state of affairs in the NBA. And apparently, the NBA is thinking of introducing a new format to the All-Star team where you select the top 24 players and they go out there and then they're going to be separated, I believe, into 3 teams of 8. And then I think they're thinking of adding a 4th team, which is just rising stars or something like that. They're going to put them in there and they're going to play against each other. And Gilbert Arenas was like, what in the hell is this even? Like, what are we doing right now? Like, what are we doing? This is Gilbert Arenas. This is not me. Okay, this is a former NBA player saying this, not me. Okay, so as the conversation continued to progress, Rashard McCants started to chime in, and they were like, well, look, at this point, you got to motivate these guys with money. And what Rashard McCants said after that was absolutely beautiful and absolutely sad at the exact same time. Take a listen to what he had to say there.
I like Gil's idea because if they know, and I don't care how much money they make, but if they know there's some money on the line, that's going to make them play a lot harder.
At the end of every quarter, so that means we got to come out all that shooting
format.
50 and I can win an extra $10,000, $20,000 at the end of this quarter. No, dog, we're going to play harder.
No doubt.
You ain't nothing but a stripper now.
No, cool.
Yeah, this money make you move
right.
now.
The money
gotta make you
give me
move.
my money.
The money
It
gotta
just
make
looks
you
nasty
move.
now,
It don't
right?
matter.
That I now can throw money at you to get you to do some stuff that you're supposed to do. Because look, I'm already giving you money to twerk, though. I gave you 50. You already getting money to twerk. I already seen that dance. You already been doing the dance all season.
What happens when you pull up? Think about it. You already paid me. I got my little money.
Well, show me.
You
Show me
pull out
the twerk.
the big wad, right?
Well, show me
I
the
see
twerk.
more money to get.
Twerk.
Okay. But you doing the same move. You're doing the same move.
For that 100, might throw the leg up. Might throw the leg up. Yeah, boy, you go. I'm gonna shake that 100 out of you. Come on.
So you like the new format?
I just feel like they're just creating a scapegoat for the players.
So we
Like
saw.
you just
I'm just saying, I agree with you. Just get rid of it.
Larry Bird went into the locker room and said, guys, come on. This time let's play hard.
Okay.
And they went out there.
This time let's play hard. So I mean, the last time they didn't.
Did the same thing. He's like, damn, well, I went in there and I said something to him.
So we saw NBA Cup last season, that $500,000 grand prize. Some teams played hard. Some teams said, you know what? It may be early in the season, but we're going to battle the odds, give the fans what they want, and win the first ever in-season tournament championship in NBA history.
Okay, so
other teams did not.
What I'm saying is, so you put $500,000 for a prize, and they started this tournament cup. How was the play last year throughout all of it? Great.
Yeah, for some teams.
How is it right now? The intensity is up, right? So the example right there didn't register in your brains to say, maybe we should just put a grand prize. Instead of at the end of the game, if we want to competitive throughout, a prize at the end of every quarter. Just start at 0-0 every time. Now it makes even the people who come off the bench, and now it makes you want to coach too. Because now you got to coach to win because you get a bonus too. So you sitting here usually subbing in, LeBron ain't going hard, you about to sub this person, Steph ain't going hard, and now you sitting here like, yeah, I'm gonna get you at the beginning of the quarter, big dog. Let me finish with this.
Yeah.
Now, I need to finish it. I need to win this quarter. Think about if it's 2020. What you think that defense is on that last possession? Lock up. Like, if he hits this, they win the money.
It's sad, man.
So
it's sad that they got to do this, but...
Because you're supposed to be a representation of the best players that are in the league. And it's a privilege to be...
But it's not.
Seen as the best players in the league to showcase why.
It should be.
But that's
to showcase why.
But
tell us why. Show us why.
Because the best players in the league ain't always on that team.
Which is even
Facts.
more,
So it's already
which
flawed.
is even more of a showcase for the guy who got picked to showcase something. Something. So because you got picked over somebody who actually everybody feels they deserve to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So show me something.
So last All-Star weekend, they added some excitement with the Steph versus Sabrina three-point contest. People in the chat have said, how about a one-on-one battle? I'm going to take it a step further. LeBron versus Bronny.
So you heard what Rashard McCann had to say. It's funny. It's sad. But it's true. I don't understand what is going on. I'm actually confused. Like, how is this actually happening? Let me get this straight. Today, NBA players are getting paid a record amount of money. This is the most money players have ever earned in the history of since the NBA has been around, right? History. So, this is the most lucrative time in the in history to be a basketball player, right? Everybody's making buku money. For God's sakes, Ben Simmons is making money. So, money's in the league. They just re-upped for a new a package of television deal, which was 3x what they had last time, which the former deal was about 25, 26 billion. This new deal is about 76, 77 billion. And they're going to be making hundreds or billions of dollars. And you're telling me that the only thing that can motivate these players is for more money to get thrown at them. The question is, why? Why is that the solution? Why is it that it is, how have we gotten to this point? Because in the past, players used to do it for less money. We did a show the other day talking about the love of the game, Michael Jordan. Those guys did it because they enjoyed it. But now it's like, you have to incentivize me to go out there and perform in these all-star games and all of these various events. So the question now becomes, and it's a serious one, why should NBA fans care if you don't care? That's number one. Why should NBA fans care if the players don't care? If you don't care, why should I care? That's the first thing. If you don't care, why should I care? Because if you're telling me out of all this money that you're making, the tens of millions of dollars you're making, you still need a financial incentive to just put on a show for us, then you're saying you don't care about the fans. And if that's the reality, then it needs to be stated plainly. And all of these gimmicks won't work. It is sad where the NBA is right. It's actually sad. It actually is. I'm sorry to say it. How do we go from the players that we had in the past to this current? And that's why it always cracks me up when they talk about this is the best era ever. How? Where? What? How? This is the most disgraceful era I've ever seen in the history of this league. It's the most disgraceful. And some of y'all are trying to make an argument that we're looking at something special. We're not looking at anything special here. We're not. It is so sad to witness this decline. Then now players need to be incentivized to go out there and do what they quote unquote love. I love it, but you got to pay me to do it. I love it, but you got to pay me to do it. But Rashad McCann said the truth of the matter is these people don't care. And if you don't care, I don't care. I've been watching the All-Star game in the last 2 years, and I will not be watching this one as well. This is me speaking from the perspective of a fan, and I have the right, especially somebody that patronizes the product. I have a right to voice my opinion. It is my right to voice my opinion.